Big up, big up, big up, big up, big up. And welcome to Liverpool 12th Man Show. I am the Liverpool 12th Man, and we are about to fire up the Liver Bird jet and fly high. And we are joined by JK and Brian today. How are you doing, JK?
All good, bro. Hope you're cool, yeah?
Yeah, definitely good, definitely good. And Brian, how are you doing?
All good, all good.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Big up to Keep It Real. Big up to Lee. Good evening, gents. Um, I wanted to get into a bunch of stuff that's going on today. We have we have the news about Edwards coming in. We have the news about some of the updates. Obviously, we watched, or some of us, at least I did at least, watched. And hello, Ian. Good to see you, Ian. We watched the presser today with Dom being the player that got to be the key focus of the presser today. And normally I take that as you can pretty much guarantee that player is going to be a starter in the game. Pretty much guarantee it. Yeah. Did you guys watch the press conference today, JK, Brian?
Yeah, I had a little look. Klopp seemed his usual self. Nothing new about injuries as such. I think Salah and Szoboszlai, because as you were saying, when a guy pops up on a press conference, a player, for example, he's definitely starting, I think. And I think I would like to have him against United on Sunday, Szoboszlai. But the press conference for tomorrow, I think, gives us an opportunity to just quickly maybe rest a few players, maybe give the youngsters McConnell and say the young lad up top. His name begins with K.
Kumas.
Yeah, maybe give them guys some chances to play, you know.
Yeah. I saw, and also today we got, it was cool. It was a cool little, I guess you could say, content drop for Liverpool, because there was also like you got to watch the insider, like inside practice or inside training, I think it's called, segment too. So you got a sense of like, okay, it's good to see. For instance, I saw Gravenberch is back training, which is really, really promising to see. I put down in my notes here. So Gravenberch, I saw Kai Gordon was out there practicing with them. Saw a bunch of youngsters obviously involved in the practice. It was good to see also that he mentioned that Mo Salah is or was available Mo Salah is available for the upcoming match, but doesn't necessarily guarantee that you will see him as a starter or anything like that. But the FA Cup is coming up, so that's important. We definitely need him to come be involved in that. And what else was it there? There was a lot of that stuff's promising, like as in like to see when you see those guys in training, at least hey, there's a chance. There's always the chance that we can actually end up seeing them. So like that's important. Let me get up to let me say some of the stuff that the guys are saying in the chat here. Ian said, talking about, see Gravenberch is back in training. That's good news. That is good news, because we're going to need them. We're going to need all these players to be involved and be, actively contributing in one way or another. We're also going to say with honesty. Says Klopp himself said he's got a good relationship with Edwards, so people need to stop saying Klopp is leaving because Edwards is coming, or that Edwards is returning because of Klopp leaving. That's a good point. Very good point, because you know what? It has nothing to do, has nothing to do with Edwards. Edwards coming back has nothing to do with it. And he also put it to bed. He said, well, now that Edwards is coming back, does that mean that you might stay, considering your relationship was so good and promising with him? And he's like, he's like, nope, that's not happening, He's like, I don't, which is like, we I'm glad the journalist did drop that question to kind of like, knock that out of the queue for questions that he's going to have to consistently answer, I'm sure, one way or another. Pick up. Thank you. Pick up. Chris Angel. I see Chris Angel. He's commenting. Yeah, you like the Endo. I got Endo in the house. The samurai swords. It's taking on all these citizens. Right? Big up. Big up to Philip too. I see you in the chat. Big up. So yeah, what were some of the things that you were that you took from the presser, Brian? Did you say anything, see anything, or hear anything? I know press conferences.
Well,
They're very tailored. They're very, very, cut directly for press consumption. But he does get asked questions. Sometimes it can be difficult to answer. So, what were some of the things that you took from the press conference today?
I bet he's glad you don't ask press conference questions, to be honest, because we'd be there all day. I'm only messing. I didn't watch it, but what I knew I'd missed it, so I watched the guy David Lynch.
Oh yeah, great journal. Yeah, good journalist. I like David Lynch.
He just does like a 6 or 7 minute video afterwards. Basically, just says what Klopp said without, having to kind of listen to all the nonsense in between. Yeah, he was just kind of from what he was saying, just like the first thing, like someone asked him about injuries, and Klopp said, "Well, look, I'm going to the training after this, so if I say something now, I'm going to get to training and be told because I haven't seen the boys yet, basically." He kind of, that just kind of put all of them straight to bed. Like, don't even bother asking me because I'm going to find out afterwards.
Right.
And then I think what he said, just what I picked from it was he said like just a mixture for tomorrow, and he said like getting the best legs out there, and I don't think he means aesthetically. I think he means the guys that are actually have minutes, can run for another game, but also just mix in a couple of the lads. So I'd be with JK. I reckon it's going to be. He was kind of hinting at that, like. There'd be a good mix, but he didn't give too much away really about anything, it seems. The Edwards stuff, just basically what you'd expect him to say, apart from I can't believe someone asked him that question, but I suppose like that's the kind of, like, I know it's funny, but like Klopp, I mean, if I had a chance to ask Klopp one question, I don't know if I'd ask him something that I know is just going to probably annoy him a little bit. Like the guy's not turning around and oh, he's staying because of Michael Edwards. And he was, the thing about Edwards leaving because of Klopp, two things can happen at the same time, Klopp was getting more power, which is true. And Edwards wasn't as aligned with Klopp as he had been before. That's true. But that could have been just one of the reasons why he decided to go on and do something else. And he's been offered, a very different job to what he was doing before. And Klopp knows this. And Klopp was, I think, I'm pretty happy to know that there's someone there who will help the smooth transition from him to someone else. I think he knows what a good job he did. Of course, you're going to have rivalries at work and disagreements at work, but he's going now, and he knows how good Edwards is at what he did. I don't think there's any animosity there. I don't think there's any kind of falling out or anything like that. It wasn't like Klopp pushed Edwards out the door or Edwards jumped before he was pushed because Klopp was having too much. I just think it was the way stuff developed. And, like everybody was always kind of maybe, I fell into that. Not everybody, but there was some calls for saying like, should Klopp have, more power? Should Klopp be able to pick the players he wants a bit more? And I think it just became slightly a different version of that. And Edwards went off and did what he did, but we've offered him so much. Come back. Klopp is happy to see him come back.
Right.
Well, I think he knows.
I think he knows it's a good appointment. That's the primary thing. Like, he made a point of saying that he knows he's leaving, and he just wanted to do the best he could to set up the team for the best, best measures of success for the future, and he knows that he's doing his job. He's doing what he can do by getting these players prepared, because ultimately, Edwards is what it is. Like, as I've been saying this time again, Edwards can certainly be some of the engineers or some in getting the players through the door, in essence, engineering the deals and getting players signed. But the actual development, the actual progress of the players is all primarily up to Klopp. So, I mean, that part of it is what he basically, in what I took it as, is that he's like, that was his job, and they're just two individuals that did their job very well. So they appreciate and respect each other.
Yeah, like if you're running the kitchen, and you're out there relying on, you're supposed to pull off the best meals every Saturday, once a week or twice a week. And you put someone in charge of hiring you the best staff, bringing you in the best of suppliers to work with. Yeah, then you pick them, and then you do your chefy stuff. But you have to have someone there that knows what you need and gives you the best tools to go, so you don't have to go off and look for a new dishwasher, do all those things. So it has to come together. But he also has to know what kind of staff you want. So when that works, it's brilliant. When you've got a manager, and it worked out really well for us, but I can guarantee you there was screaming arguments behind the scenes over, I want this player, he wants that player. Guarantee you it got heat, because it was all about Julian Brandt. He had to be basically Klopp had to be kidnapped and put in a room when they signed Salah instead of Brandt. It was So he won't have always been perfect behind the scenes, but it worked out brilliant for him. And like a manager, look, it's hard to call these things. It's really like, you've got to get a manager. Doesn't necessarily need to get on with this guy, but this guy just needs to understand what the manager wants and needs, and give it to him. And I think we got it right. Like I said the other night, like, apart from, say, injury problems, when's the last time we bought a bad player?
No, you're right. I will agree with that too.
Where are you, Charlie Adam? No, not Charlie Adam. Maybe
it's going to be interesting. So, like, with the chat too, like, I'd like to hear the chat's take on this too. And it's kind of unfortunately I didn't get in touch with Quasi. So I know, because Edwards is Quasi's guy. Like, Edwards Quasi loves himself some Edwards. But what's unique about this, signature that we're bringing in Edwards on, is that we're bringing him in. I saw a lot of different pieces about, like, the different takes and everything that are going to be on Edwards' position and what his role is going to be. It's going to be very interesting, because there is an episode that I want to do coming up, actually, probably over the break, because we have a bunch of episodes that we've been working on to get us through that little lull period. But this new concept of, originally our team was not, Liverpool was not structured, or not structured. Liverpool wasn't looking at doing a multi-team plan. It was said by I think it was Hogan actually said it, that we weren't looking to go in for this. He says other teams, yes, I understand that, but for right now, Liverpool's not looking to go that direction. FSG, at least, is not looking to go in that direction. But they've changed. But now, with the appointment that we have, it might be a different circumstances, and it might open up that situation of bringing this multi-team concept to be a part of this club. And what's very, very interesting with that is, I am not the biggest fan of the multi-team concept. I think it's kind of a dangerous slope that we're going, or dangerous grounds that we're getting into. I know that UEFA and FIFA are both looking at possibly creating some type of sanctions, not sanctions, or regulations for multi-teams and such, because of the circumstances with City and with the club, with the Spanish club team that they had, and what would have been the situation if both those teams meet in the Champions League final? Like, how's that even work out? JK, and I know Brian has. I'll leave Brian for last, because I know Brian has definitely some opinions on the multi-team concept. But JK, what are your thoughts on the multi-team concept too?
Not a big fan of it. Man City own numerous clubs.
13 actually, 13 clubs.
So for me, I don't want to go that way. I always believe Liverpool, unique club. Do we need to do that? Yeah, maybe it's beneficial for maybe buying young players from South America, and they can start their career at that club, and then maybe process on to Liverpool, for example. Maybe they're looking at it like that. But all in all, I'm not a big fan of it.
Yeah. How about for you, Brian? And the chat too. I see you guys put in the comments. I will share the comments too. So please include your comments in the chat. Go ahead, Brian.
I don't like it purely on an ethical level, because there's shithole scumbag clubs like Chelsea going around buying up proper historical clubs.
Right.
And I don't care if you've never heard, like not you, if some of these people have never heard of them. That's on them, not on me. So I don't like it ethically. I don't know why.
Oh, I guess that was FIFA's going. That was City going. Don't talk about multi clubs. maybe the City group might have something next.
Press the button.
Press the button.
Press the goddamn button.
He's on to us. He's on to us.
Too funny, man.
Oh man.
But it's weird, like
Chris, I'm about to send you the link, Chris. I'm about to send you the link.
It's like,
but no, it's interesting because, like, yeah, this multi-club thing is so interesting. JK, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
No, I was just saying that. Have you realized in this world you can't really say what you want to say and talk about things that
I just did realize it, apparently. But go ahead.
It's fucking no wonder the world is upside down, bro. When you are not going to be talking about one thing I like about Klopp is that he doesn't really hang his dirty washing on the line for the media. He never embarrassed the club, and for him to give his decision, he's leaving the club halfway through a title running season. Bit disappointed with that, and also with the Edwards scenario all happening, big news, this, that, and the other. It's just a bit too much for me in that way of we got things to win. They could have done this at the end of the season, but you can imagine the fans they haven't got a sporting director in, they ain't got a new manager in. You know what fans are like nowadays. They haven't got that patience no more. Come on. Liverpool is a big club.
I mean, Ian's saying this. He's saying, I think it's a great move by FSG. You're bringing back someone who knows the workings of the club inside out. Plus, he will now be at the heart of driving the club strategy for the next 5 to 10 years. That is what he's talking about. Obviously, the appointment of Edwards, and also I know that we do have the appointment of a sporting director that's coming up as well. That's very well connected. I do have a question about that too. I want Brian to be a part of that concept or the talk about that as well. I'm going to bring in Chris. I'm going to bring Chris, and I'll be bringing up. And Brian's back. All right, cool. Just making sure. Brian, you're okay? Big up, Chris. How are you?
Yeah. I'm good. I'm good.
I think you got some internet stuff there. I'll just quickly finish what I was saying, and it will be quick. It's just on in terms of what we're doing. I don't like this idea of clubs buying up other clubs and owning other clubs, because I just think that just goes against everything I kind of believe in. If you want to go off and create a club in a new city by maybe buying up like a dead kind of ground or franchise over in America maybe or something, then fine and restart. But like a club like Chelsea buying a club like Auxerre just makes me sick. But I don't understand why we can't just create partnerships like create partnerships and relationships with clubs like we have always done in the past. Some, unofficial feeder clubs almost. Apparently, maybe that's not, it doesn't work for some of these guys, but it definitely was part of what Edwards wanted to do when he came in, because that's what Hogan hinted at. Because don't forget, like, Michael Edwards isn't coming back to be a director of football. He's coming back to be the director of football for FSG, not for Liverpool. Like, this guy Hughes,
exactly,
he's going to be doing what Edwards used to do. This Hughes guy, he's going to be buying and selling players along with the manager. So Edwards has come in and go, you guys need to be. He came out and said that the multi-club model was a vitally important part of him coming back to Liverpool, that they were doing this kind of stuff in the future. And you can see his job title is very important. It doesn't say Liverpool, it says the FSG. It's, Chief Football Officer for FSG. So that means FSG has football ambitions outside of just Liverpool. So look, if this is the way it's going, like I said, I'd much rather us create a kind of a new club, but they don't want to start in the 4th or 5th tier of Belgian football or Brazilian football or wherever it is. They want to buy a going concern. I don't think it should be allowed. Like, but hey, look, what can I do? What can I say? But that's just, I think it was a big part of Edwards' pitch for what he wanted to do. That this was a big part of it. It's like, I'm not just interested in Liverpool. We got to get worldwide here, kind of thing, is probably what he's saying. So, look, that's the way we're going by the looks of it, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it does. I mean, excuse me. And a lot of these clubs, even though they have, some of these clubs have gone the multi-club route. The 777 club, right, is one of them. And then also obviously the Blue Company, which is the Chelsea group. They have their multi teams. Yes, Everton is 777, but the Blue Club is the Chelsea, and obviously City, as I mentioned before, all going in that direction. But again, like I said, FIFA's going to be looking into regulating these multi clubs. I mean, like, they're going to, and most likely they're going to be looking at, as long as Honesty said, he says he has no problem. He has no problem with. He says, I don't understand about the multi-club stuff. If it benefits us, I'm cool. He's cool with it as long as it doesn't bring us trouble. Like, it's kind of like a wait and see, and it's kind of a slippery slope, because I don't know, like, as in, how sometimes some of these things happen. If we get involved in the multi-clubs, and then let's say FIFA comes out and tries to regulate, like, what do we do then? Like, are they going to be forced to sell, or or does it bring us some problems that we'd have to, like, navigate? It is a little bit of an issue.
It's real easy, man, isn't it? You can't possibly have a scenario where, and I know they won't buy in the same thing, but a possibility there where something happens where Chelsea drop into the UEFA League or UEFA Conference, UEFA Conference League, and Auxerre get into UEFA Conference League. They can't play each other. They're owned by the same company. You're owned by the same people. You just, this is simple stuff. So, like, go and buy a club in India and China and Singapore and America. Right? But yeah, buying up big clubs in Europe, you're kind of asking for trouble when it comes to down the road, FIFA and all of that.
Yeah, Chris, do you have an opinion on this?
I'm American. I'm all about the money. So buy whoever you want.
Okay.
Hey, man.
It's like Deion Sanders. Must be the money.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's dating some people, but Deion Sanders.
No, man. At the end of the day, I'm kind of surprised it took FSG so long in regards to investing into another club. The money's there and stuff. I think they have the money for it, which is kind of weird though, because for the past 2-3 years, 12 men won't know this and stuff. Some people might not know this or whatever. They've been wanting to buy an NBA team for a very long time. They wanted to buy a football team for a very long time, and those teams cost a lot of money. So I'm surprised if they're going to start buying clubs. Because their passion is in American sport. So Why not get that over the hump before buying other clubs in Europe or whatever, if whatever they decide to do? But yeah, man. At the end of the day, if they're trying to be strategic in a way where they're trying to use it as a feeder club to send players there, to scout the talent from a certain nation and stuff, or using it as a stepping stone and stuff, or whatever, then I guess that's good. I guess I don't know. So we'll see how it goes and stuff. For me, like I'm kind of with the concept where Brian is thinking about. It just wouldn't make sense to buy a European team just for. Well, we don't like currently the rules are set that you can't really own two teams and they can't be in the same competition type thing. I don't know how the rules will be later down the line or whatever. They'll be more flexible, but for right now, it just doesn't make sense to buy a team in Europe.
Well, yeah.
It just doesn't make sense right now to do it. I don't know how the rules will be later down the line. If you're going to buy a team in Europe, then they will have to be in the third, fourth, fifth tier, and I don't even see them doing that and stuff because it gives you time.
What happens? But what happens if you do something where you get a team in this, let's say, second or third tier, like you said, and you invest so much money in them that you just like, and you use them as a.
That's the thing. I don't think
that they rise up, and now all of a sudden they're in the top tier.
I don't think FSG is gonna pump money. They're not that type of people.
Or just, I'm not saying FSG per se, but I'm just saying other clubs.
Okay, yeah. Well, we'll see, but you don't. That's what I'm saying. The rules this year is not the same as going to be next year or the year after that. So hopefully it changes, but if not, then it is what it is. For me, I think logically speaking, you target clubs that are in administration, that are going through financial problems.
Right.
It's a cheaper option and stuff to go for clubs that have a big name. It just doesn't make sense and stuff. Like, so in Europe, I think the one team that would make sense based on history.
Yeah. What were the three? What were the three that you had? You said that in the chat. What were the three teams?
There was one that's logical for me, just based on they're currently facing administration currently, and they've been. I think they were demoted to the third tier in France, and it's Bordeaux.
Okay, great city too, by the way.
It just makes the most sense. They're in the third tier. They're going through administration right now. It just makes the most sense, in my opinion. But then eventually, when they go to the first tier and stuff, and let's say they do get Champions League or whatever, it's going to come to. There's going to be an issue then.
Bordeaux only needs to be run right for 5 seasons, and they're back in the league.
Yeah, exactly.
And run right for another 2, and they're back in the Champions League.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's a problem. You don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I think this comes down to whether you think it's ethically right or not, and then whether it's a good. Like someone said back there, and I'm not having to go with them. They said, as long as it's good for Liverpool, I don't care. I mean, okay, so I do. I care about what happens in football and other football clubs. I don't just care about Liverpool. This whole idea, well, if it's good for us, screw everything else. Well, that's football you're talking about. So if you want to screw,
Brian, you might know more about this than I do. So why is it that Salzburg and Leipzig can play in the Champions League?
Because they're from different countries.
But he's asking, meaning like as in because they're owned by, for instance, like
they're owned by
they're owned by Red Bull. So how can a Red Bull have Red Bull Salzburg, Red Bull Leipzig, and actually play in the Champions League? That's what he's asking.
I don't think they have ever met, but there was a ruling on that which they got around. Basically, I can't remember the exact way that it worked out, but they got around that one.
Yeah, they did. They got around because I think it was a couple of years ago that both of them were in the Champions League.
As soon as like Salzburg, weren't always that big, but as soon as they were both in European competition, it was like alarm bells ringing. Like everyone could see it coming. It's like for me, basically, you shouldn't be allowing own more than one football club, as an individual. And also, Todd Bowley thinks this is a good idea. So if Todd Bowley thinks it's a good idea, then maybe steer clear of it.
They've proven when it comes to football. They've proven to the UEFA they have different management structure.
Yeah, they kind of they fudged it and got around it because they got money. But the thing with this to me is clearly like he couldn't have worded it more. Like even in management's kind of vanilla interview speak. I'm sorry, JK. I know you probably got to say on this, but I'll finish now. But this is clearly Michael Edwards' bait. Clearly. And like you said, FSG weren't looking at this. Michael Edwards comes in and goes, "You need to do this, then I'll come back."
Yeah.
He comes back. This is clearly his baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that was actually the so pretty much I paraphrased it, but that was pretty much a direct quote from that some of the journalists that I read and also some of the interviews that I saw, basically saying how Liverpool's stance on this multi-club was not in their
Yeah, it wasn't.
It wasn't in their perspective or in their what do you call it? In their
Future plans.
future plans. Easier way to put it.
So
For a bigger word.
So Bordeaux is one club. It just makes logical sense. But obviously,
but I mean, look, Ratcliffe owns Nice.
Yeah.
So I just don't know how that works and stuff. But and then
we're getting into, well, that's why. This is why
well, he's not majority.
Sometimes the people that have that can pull the levers and are supposed to control these, the ethical, sanctity of the game. Sometimes because it's the owners, it can be involved with more of a money-driven concept than it is the true ethics of keeping the game, true and pure and everything else. Because and that's somewhat why, I know the government has been looking to try to push more into getting into the regulation or getting more involved with this, with football, because you have these situations growing that, if you continue to allow for these owners, they're going to figure out ways to make super leagues. They're going to figure out ways to make, multi-leagues. They're going to figure out ways to make.
There's always loopholes. There's always loopholes.
There's always loopholes. Yeah.
As a business person, you should exploit the loopholes. It's just part of business. But that's just me, though. That might sound dark, but whatever.
That's what Bowley did with the long-term contracts, and now they close
that. Exactly. Yeah.
So
just to finish off the topic, so this one, for people that don't know, that don't follow South American football, 2 clubs are looking for investors. I think that's something FSG should pounce on. And they're looking to sell about 30 to 40% of the club and stuff. And that is River Plate and Boca Juniors.
Oh, come on now. Stop.
They are. You can look it up. You can look it up.
How much? Wait, so they're looking to sell both the owners for those teams?
They need investors. They need investors.
How much of a percentage?
Because currently,
asking for a friend. How about that?
Currently, right now, they have a new president, and he's dipping into the league and stuff so it's going to be government regulated now and stuff.
Right.
So they need outside investors and stuff to help stuff. And to be honest,
those are the 2 biggest clubs in Argentina, by the way, people. I mean, if those that don't know, I'm sure the majority do know, but
if you don't know, and in regards to the talent pool, they get the best talents.
Oh, absolutely.
So
their youth academy and all the different all the players that they have are some of the best in that region for sure.
So that would just make sense and stuff. And then and the third club is just my club in Colombian stuff. They just need help by them and stuff. That's just a personal reason and stuff. So but we'll see how it goes and stuff.
Well,
we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. We'll definitely see how it goes. I'm glad that Chris is with us because I'll change up a little bit of the order here, just in case he has to go later on or something. Because I have originally I was going to go into some of the hot topics that are on on some of the social medias and everything else. But before we do that, I wanted to get into some of the updates for the players, medical updates at least. So for Ibu, we have Ibu. he got knocked out, or came up a little lame and everything in the game, in the Europa game, and it has been said that the Frenchman missed Sunday's 1-1 draw, Ollie, with Man City after pulling up with a muscle issue during the preceding visit to Sparta Prague. However, it is thought only to be minor, and so Konate should be in contention to face Manchester United this weekend. I don't know. Did anyone see him in training, by the way? I didn't see him.
He was in individual training and stuff, the same with Basetic.
Okay.
He was on grass, apparently, from what I read.
Okay. So yeah, there was a report. I'm just asking because there was a report that says he was spotted running freely around the pitch at the Access Training Center on Tuesday, and though yet not in full training, that's a positive sign. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we did see Gravenberch back, which is like very, very promising. For Gravenberch, I don't know. Do you think that, Chris? Do you think that they're going to
after the international break? Well,
after the international break,
yeah, just guys have some faith. After the international break, you're gonna see a lot of faces back. There's no point in rushing. For me, yeah, it would be nice to have Ibu back for Saturday. I wouldn't rush him just because of the fact that we've known Ibu to pick up these niggles throughout the season. Just protect them, hold them off. If you really need them, then I guess I wouldn't recommend it and stuff. But I will hold them off until after the international break. Give him a nice little 2 weeks off, and top of the time he has off, and he'll be fresh, and they'll be tackle and beat whoever we have to beat after the international break and stuff, and we just go strong and stuff. Because looking at the time set, Trent will be back. Alisson should be back. Apparently, I don't know the length of Alisson's injuries and stuff, but apparently, what I read as well, even before everyone said per se that he was going to be a long injury. No, he's going to be back by after the international break. Gravenberch, I think if I read correctly, based on the tackle as well, it seemed like a light ligament on the ankle and stuff. Which when you do the math and stuff, he should be back by after the international break. Who else is injured?
So Curtis Jones also is like a major name that we would like to see come back to the.
He's off the book, but the good thing is that he's off. I seen pictures of him off the boot and stuff, so he's good then. If he's off the boot, then he's good, and he should be back by before the international.
Right. So originally, Pep Lenders appeared to give Jones a chance to returning back before the break. He said late last month. He said Curtis is probably the first one to come back around the international break.
That wasn't going to happen.
And they were also looking at it. They says it remains to be seen, but basically they're not certain, but there's a possibility that he could be involved for the match against Brighton on March 31st, which is a promising sign. Obviously, our vice captain, Trent Alexander-Arnold, he's looking like Alexander-Arnold is recovering from an LCL injury and is expected he will be back to face Brighton after the break. So again, another Brighton return. Encouragingly, the right back was seen without the brace on his knee, and
good signs.
Yeah, which is really good because he was at the Man City game, and he was on the pitch and he was like obviously giving encouragements out there. Another name. Don't worry, I'm not gonna say the trigger names, but another name that is out there is the 19-year-old Stefan Bajcetic. I know he's only played I think twice this year. But appearances of the season as a result of a stress response in his abductor and subsequent growing pains, they're calling it. But they're taking precautions. But they're saying that he is close to resuming complete training, and a return after the international break is not out of the question. And then, gosh, this list is so long. And then Alisson, Alisson has been out since suffering a serious injury last month, but it is thought he will be back around early April. That's what we're hearing.
After the international break, yeah.
And then the last on this list that I'm going to there's others on the list, but this is the last I'm going to get into. And that is Diego Hata is working on a similar timeline after he sustained a knee injury at Brentford. We're looking at mid-April as being the target. That's according to reports in Portugal. So the Portuguese.
What was his injury again? Knee injury?
It was a knee injury.
What type of knee injury?
Let me see
Was it one of the ligaments or no?
I don't have it just says blah, 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 blah. It says Liverpool's Diego Jota is treated for an injury during the FA Premier League match between Brentford and it doesn't give anything other than just saying it's a knee injury.
He hasn't done any surgery, right?
No surgery.
And when did he get out? Like
he was out his last appearance was February 17th.
17th, so that's 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So about 8 weeks.
Yeah. Is that pushing it?
No, it's not that. I'm just trying to predict the actual injury and stuff. 8 weeks, knee injury, no surgery. How was the tackle again? Like, do you guys remember the tackle? Like, was it a tackle that he? Oh no, it buckled back. It was the one that he landed, right? That he landed on.
It was one that he landed. Yeah, he had a player land on.
The PCL. It's the PCL.
Yeah, I think he had a player land on him or something like that.
It was the PCL injury. Yeah.
And he I think he attempted to get up, but then he just sat back down. I want to say.
Yeah. It was the PCL. Yeah.
And he did walk off.
Yeah. It buckled back.
But I mean, I think he needed assistance walking off though too.
Mid-April. They said mid-April. Mid-April does seem reasonable, to be honest.
Yeah, I said mid-April is the target for him, and that's from Portugal. That's obviously because Portugal has would be utilizing him obviously for national teams.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
They're obviously going to be. And some other good news is that Mo isn't going to be going to Egypt to be a part of the part of the friendlies. That's very, very uplifting news to hear. Oh, and also, Konate is, I don't know if I mentioned it or not already, but Konate is actively looking to get involved as well with his return to the pitch as well.
Okay.
Let me see if I have
the only one that does that you brought up.
I did mention Konate already. I'm sorry. It was
In regards to Basetic, I said it last season when his abductor gave out. That's gonna be an issue he's gonna have to deal with for the rest of his career and stuff. But it's just one of those injuries where it's annoying. It's like getting the cold every year. It's gonna come back. Just like when you experience a hamstring injury, your body becomes vulnerable and stuff. So it's just one of those things he has to manage and stuff. I think they're doing an amazing job in regards to not forcing him back on the pitch, especially if he's going through like growth issues and stuff and dealing with an abductor. I think they're doing a good job. I know we have the right to kind of criticize some of the decisions the medical team does and stuff because some of it does seem naive and stuff. But I think they're doing a good job with Basetic though.
I have so there's some I do very lightly. So every once in a while I will get into the reports about players that we are looking at currently. I'm going to bring this up because Chris is in the chat also because I know that also some of these players aren't necessarily on our radars because not all of us watch these other leagues and such and yada yada. Excuse me. But apparently there's a player in Portugal. His name is Alan Varela.
Oh man, the number 6.
All right, that just got
the number 6. The number 6 from Porto.
Yes,
he played for Boca Juniors last year.
Yes,
exactly. The one I said we should have gotten. Now he has a release clause of $70 million. Is like my guy. You could have just got him before that, but whatever. Sure.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So apparently, I was going to ask some of you guys if you guys know about these players or not. I was going to ask. So that's one player that that we are apparently very interested in and looking at possibly doing something with. Originally we were already involved in trying to pursue him in the January window, reportedly, but now we're looking at making it a summer acquisition possibly. And now with these appointments, now it's getting a sporting director, now with us getting these appointments in, it should be very interesting. Another name that I was going to put out there. Another name again is I'm glad to have Chris in the chat too, or in the panel, excuse me, is Luis Guilherme from Palmeiras.
Palmeiras.
Yes.
Oh, the Brazilian kid. The Brazilian kid.
Yes.
Yeah.
The U20 star.
I like it.
We're apparently we're looking at him. What's that?
He's a bit expensive for his age, to be honest.
That I do know. Yeah, he is a little expensive, but they consider him like a very special player, enough so that they'd be interested in seeing what we could possibly work out. Okay, to say the least.
FG should just buy Palmeiras and just beat the middleman.
Right. And then another name, and I'm just throwing these names out there now, and then I'll throw it to the panel for you guys to get and to the chat too. If you guys have some knowledge of these players, or you like some of these players or not, please do tell. The other name on the list, these are some of the top players now apparently that we're in pursuits of. Mark Guhi from Crystal Palace. Did I pronounce that right? Did I get that right?
Mm-hmm. Mark Guhi,
yeah. According to reports, we've actually made contact over a deal for the center back. What's kind of crazy is that a minimum price of about 50 million has been tentatively suggested.
Wait, who's the center back from Crystal Palace? You said
Guy.
The guy he used to play for Chelsea, right? He used to be a Chelsea player, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The only reason we get him is because we need someone for homegrown. I don't really see the point of, but that's just me though.
Right. Okay. And then there's also, and this is a team. Excuse me again. This is a team that Brian has also often spoken about as being like a bridge or like a gateway into European football for a lot of players. But Shakhtar has a player named Georgi Sadukov.
Ukrainian? He's Ukrainian?
Yes. We're apparently there's an Italian outlet that has basically connected us with this player. But the only problem is that his release clause is like stupid. Like his release clause is 128 million pounds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He is on a Ukrainian club right now, but this is a player that we're apparently like linked to. We can discuss some of these players or one or if all of these players real quickly before I go into the Twitter tabloids that I wanted to get into. But do you guys have any knowledge on these players? JK,
a lot of them are midfielders though. No, they're attacking midfielders. They're midfielders. They're right mids. Like there are a lot of midfielders though.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised on.
Yeah, I just wish this Italian tabloid can tell us who our next manager is going to be, bro. First.
I'm just confused with being linked with all these players because like we don't even know. Like
who the manager is.
We already know who our CEO is or whatever, but we don't know who our manager is. Like I don't know, but hey,
it was more so because we know that we still have Besiktas on the mend. The fact that Thiago is going to go at the end of the year, most likely, and then also the center back the reason why the center back I think is being mentioned or being put out there is because Matt is going through what he's going through as well. So a lot of these names have been possibly those could be some of the reasons why we have these links to these players.
The guy from Palace is the same sort of level as Tosun from Fulham.
He's on a free though. Tosun's going on a free, no?
Oh, okay. On a free,
he's on the last year of his contract. I think he goes on the free in the summer. If I'm correct.
Okay, he's not bad, Tosun. He's okay.
I will get him for free. If he's going on free in the summer, then you get him. It just makes more sense financially. So,
yeah.
And he's English, so he fits the quota, I guess.
Here's a question for you guys. Question is from Realism Jared. He asks, with FFP now actually having consequences, clubs won't go over the 90 million pounds route. That will become a rarity in his opinion. He could be wrong, but with FFP, he can't see that happening too often. Do you guys see? I just mentioned the Sudukov being 128 million pounds as a release clause, 150 million euros basically. Do you see a lot of these players? I mean, especially some of these with the Spanish league, for instance. Every player has a release clause in there. It's part of the.
But that's part of the league. I think it's a league thing. Yeah. They have to put a release clause.
Right.
Stuff, which is weird, but whatever.
But they end up making these release clauses for
crazy,
astronomical like a billion dollar, a billion pound, or a billion euro release clause. It's like okay, I get that you got to put a release clause on these players, but you're making these release clauses so ridiculous that it's basically saying you don't have a release clause.
Look at football, for example. Trevor Francis was the first £1 million player. I'm talking like a long time ago. And now a guy gets £1 million a week wages. So football's going that way, Football is going to be so crazy that you're going to get players for 350, 400 million in the future if this don't stop now. So that FFP thing might be a blessing in disguise where we get control of football again, considering transfer fees, wages. Is that fucking control? It's like, who pays for this? The fans are going to be paying £200 for a football jersey soon. I was paying 45 6 years ago, actually. It's 140 now. So that's football, And I think this summer, this transfer window we just had, it was strange. No one was buying no one. But I think it was about time because people were just spending money that they didn't even have, some clubs. So ridiculous.
Yeah. I have some I guess we can all take off our scrubs and get out of the ER here, as Brian was saying. And because that's what it feels like pretty much. There are some fun little things I was gonna say. So this is something that Brian could actually I'd like to hear Brian's opinion on this actually, being that he's our Irish resident. UEFA report, according to Sky Sports, UEFA are making contingency plans for the Europa League final in the event of a clash between Liverpool and Rangers at the Aviva Stadium in Dublin. So they're apparently making the contingency plans are that they are possibly going to be moving the final to Dubai.
No.
How do you feel about it, Brian?
Yo,
Dubai? I can't afford a trip to Dubai. I was ready to go to Ireland, man.
That's the reports.
Oh, forget that. That's crazy.
It's kind of messed up too, because for those of us that are either have already booked our tickets or are planning on booking our tickets to Ireland,
I guess I won't be able to visit.
And especially since you want to make these plans early enough that you can get decent, accommodations. Because Brian was doing me a solid by telling me, some of the Yelp reviews, the Brian's Yelp reviews for Dublin and such.
I guess I have to wait another couple of years to go visit the OG Brian and stuff. But I don't, because of his age, he might not last a couple of more years and stuff.
You there? You're there, Brian, right?
He's probably cursing out right now.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Got him again.
No, it's fine. I've just been enjoying listening to Chris for the last half an hour. Yeah. The Gay, I just on a couple of those players we were linked with. I said, look, you can see why people are saying, why don't we just buy these clubs? Why don't we just buy these clubs?
It'd be a lot easier.
50 million on it. It's like, like it was, that easy. But these are great players, and normally it did take the old Portugal via Shakhtar, and then to a big club at Chelsea or someone like that for these boys, the Varellas and the Guilhermes and these guys. But now everyone wants to get in there early and pick them up. This whole Andre, I mean, what's happened to Andre? There was a couple of Bitadores finals watch-alongs because we were buying Andre, they were doing it, like Liverpool fans doing a couple of Bitadores watch-along. So, this is our guy, he's coming in, after the game, maybe they'll sell him to us now. It's like the Andre fever was heavy, So let's see how these guys go. Someone like at Shakhtar, 128 million. Yeah, look, they'll stick that on him. It's not necessarily league. I think Chris might be mixing that up slightly with that's the Spanish league, where it's mandatory to have release clauses for footballers. It's not mandatory in the Ukrainian league.
Oh no!
He said Spanish. He said Spain.
I said the Spanish, Brian.
Oh, but the guy in Shakhtar, I thought you were talking about the guy at Shakhtar.
Yeah. We're just saying in general.
128. They don't need. They like Shakhtar. They'll take 60. For some dude like that.
Yeah. You would think, right?
There's got to be others around. So the thing. What was the other thing you asked me? Oh yeah,
the question was about making the contingency plans to move it from Dublin.
No, that's racist. That's just racist. No, I don't know where that story came from, but that's just racist. That's just suggesting. No, it's straight up racism. It's suggesting that if you bring a load of Rangers fans to Dublin, they'll all be getting killed by the Irish people. Basically, is what they're saying. Like they're saying that.
Well, really? That's what they're saying.
That's what they're.
Yeah, that's what the implication is. Well, they're saying okay, so they're saying they will have to move the final to Dubai if there's a bunch of Rangers fans coming to Dublin, right, playing Liverpool, which means a load of English fans, which doesn't really stack up, by the way. But you got a load of Rangers fans coming to Ireland, right? So the Irish versus it's Celtic is Ireland, Rangers is the UK, so it's Ireland versus it's Ireland versus England. So they'll all get. So what they're implying is it won't be safe to have a load of Rangers fans in Dublin. That's what they're implying. They'll all be attacked and beaten up and killed.
That's
right. So, they can't move it. That, as Dustin says, they can't move it to Paris.
Yeah. So this is the first I've heard. This is the first I've heard of that. And there will always be. I mean, there should always be a contingency in place for things. But this is. I'd love to see where that story came from because that's total.
It's on Sky Sports. Well, it's on. That's reportedly from Sky Sports. That was reported by Sky Sports News.
No, that's got to be the biggest load. No, that's libel basically. If they say that we can't host Rangers fans in Ireland. Plus, Rangers ain't getting to the final, so shut up.
I know. Chances are the problem won't even. The problem they probably won't even have to worry about this circumstance.
Yeah.
But they're just putting it out there that they are making. They have considering that the Rangers are still involved in Europa.
It's straight up racism is what it is. It's straight up saying the Irish people will attack and injure and hurt Rangers fans if they come to Ireland. That's all they're saying. So
maybe they're saying they're also saying that Ranger fans will hurt Irish
Rangers.
Maybe that's what I mean. It's racist. It could be racist both directions. I'm saying in the sense of
there'll be trouble.
They think that if Ranger fans come to Ireland, they could have problems.
Rangers
fans as well. I'm not saying either or. I'm not saying either or is the case, but
Like
No,
I'm
but
all,
you know what
I'm
it
all,
is?
I'm
Oh,
all,
yeah.
sorry, okay, I'm all for winding them up, but they're Rangers fans, not Ranger fans. Rangers.
What, I
Oh,
said Rangers. Didn't I say
I
Rangers?
know you were calling them Ranger fans. There must be a
No,
Ranger.
not Rangers, not Ranger. Yeah, Rangers,
Yeah,
like plural.
there'll be a big. They're saying there'll be a big problem. There's problems at all European finals when you have a load
Yeah.
of fans from different countries going to city.
Wait, Dustin has a point though. It's a European final. Why are we going to Dubai?
Money
See,
maker, maybe.
this story makes no sense to me. It really doesn't. Like the backlash from the Irish government, I'll be imagining it will come out tomorrow from this.
I mean, why are we going to Dubai? I don't think that's a really difficult question. The reason why why is everything going to Dubai, the Middle East lately? I mean, Saudi Arabia, or was it Saudi Arabia or Qatar? One of the they're making a play for tennis now. They've already taken over golf. They're making
if they move it, they may as well. They'll have to give Liverpool fans free flights to Dubai. Anyone that bought a ticket for Dublin, if we make that final, anyone that buys a ticket for Dublin, then the UEFA should have to pay for their flights to freaking Dubai. It's all nonsense. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. But what it is, I believe it's the Rangers fans being sort of anti-Liverpool, anti-Irish, whatever political agendas they go to. It will be like Liverpool and Irish people against them guys.
Wait,
and that's all it is, really.
But I'm confused though. Like
they don't have the power. They don't have the power to get anything like that changed.
Yeah. But I'm confused though. Like, Rangers feel like they're gonna reach the final or something.
Yeah,
they're just saying it. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm only reading the news. That's all I'm doing. But
no wonder the newscasters always bullshitting.
Right.
Easier life,
All right. So in some let me see if I can find some more more enjoyable news, I guess.
Oh, did you hear about did you hear about Luis Diaz?
Yeah.
Yeah, basta links.
El País reports
Diaz to
coming out.
PSG. Right.
Yep.
That was another. I do have that report too. That report about Diaz possibly being looked at by PSG, but also heavily by Barcelona at the moment as well. It could be certainly something.
Apparently, from what I'm reading right now, I'm reading it in Spanish right now. Apparently, the agent's wage demands is no problem. Apparently, for Luis Diaz. Apparently.
Oh yeah, because he's
making
65. Yeah, he's making 65,000 at Liverpool right now.
Yeah, so
if they were to double that, it probably wouldn't still be like a problem for them.
But apparently,
what they're doing though, their new model is to stop buying old expensive players.
Yeah,
and the Galacticos, they're like, not that Diaz is a Galactico as it were, but they're not buying Vinny Jr. or anything, but they're supposed to be bringing through all these young kids. And bringing in, like, obviously they'll buy some players, and maybe Diaz might fit that mold, but this is like they need an Mbappe replacement. So, they're going to have, they're not getting a fee for him, but they'll be freeing up a lot of wages. That will free up a lot of budget at PSG. That they'll have no problem going out and spending 50 to 70 on an Mbappe replacement. So he's a left winger. Plays for a big club. It's a fairly obvious one. I mean, I don't know. Would you take 70 if someone offered us 70 million for Diaz?
Apparently, from what I'm reading now in Spanish, because I'm trying to make sure I translate word to word. Apparently, the agent already said like he's not leaving Liverpool for anything under 80 million and stuff.
Yeah, I told you his market value right now is at 88 million. That's US, but I mean, there's about 80 some odd million is his market value currently. Euro 80 million euro, 82, 84 million euros, something around there.
And after Sunday, how he played, the whole world was watching that. That's good.
Absolutely.
That put 5 million extra on his price tag.
I thought you were going to say 50 million less.
No.
Oh, he's finishing.
Brian
Yes, he's
stirring the
finishing.
pot. Brian
No, I
stirring
was
the
wondering
pot.
where you were. I was genuinely wondering where you were going with that sentence, JK. The whole world was watching on Sunday and thinking, "Oh, here we come, here we come, here we come." You're gonna, I'd take 10 million for it. He's like, no, I want a 5. Okay.
Okay, but okay, I would say 50 million less because of his finishing, but his teamwork, his drive, his hunger, his whole round gameplay. For me,
Well, that's what a team like PSG needs, isn't it? Actually, when you think about it, guys that are actually prepared to work hard for a while. They had like not the laziest, but they had Mbappe, Messi, and Neymar for a while. 3 players who had literally written into their contracts, "Thou shalt not defend." Like you put a few players like that, maybe they would have won. Maybe they would have won a European Cup at some stage. They had a few, workhorses in there, but
It just makes sense, Brian. Like when you
what's
look
his
at it too,
contract?
like
Sorry, quickly, when's his contract up?
12th man, you're gonna pull that up, or you want me to pull that up?
You must have his thing. When is his contract up? I reckon it's 2 years after this summer. Is it? It must be.
Yeah, because if you have it more accessible. I do have.
Is 27. His contract expires in 2027.
We got 3 more years.
3 years left. Yep.
Yeah, we can offer. We can hold out for a full price for him. Yeah, we can hold out for not 90 million, but almost his full market value. It's not like he's 18 months away from something. But I don't know, if someone comes in and gives you 70 million on the table. See, this is the thing. I'm saying, like, it's a new manager. A new manager will come in and go, 70 million or Diaz, 70 million or Diaz. I'll take 70 million because I know I can get this guy for 35, and I know I can do this. And swings around about. Got to move him. One in, one out. You got to trade in football, like JK was saying earlier on. And Blaz, that FFP comment is right. The January spend in the Premier League is one of the lowest of all time, and that's for a bloody good reason. Newcastle were basically told, Newcastle, richest club in the world apparently, had to sell Bruno Guimaraes if they wanted to spend big, or they had to sell maybe, I don't know, some other Isaac, but they weren't going to do that.
Would you take Bruno? Would you take Bruno G?
Who? Bruno who? From Newcastle?
Guimaraes. I would have taken him before he went there at the kind of 35 to 40, but I wouldn't probably go out and break the bank now. Give them the 80, 90 they'd want.
I'm with Brian. Like,
Brilliant
I would have
player.
taken him. I would have taken him, but now I don't know for that price.
Yeah.
For the only midfielder I'll break the bank for is Valverde. It's the only one I would do it for.
Yeah, he's quality.
That's the only one, and he has age on his side as well. But the whole Luis Diaz thing to PSG, I see it working though. Just because of the type of league it is, the manager, you have Luis Enrique as their manager. It just makes sense on every level, I think.
Yeah, but I think like we want about the South American connection, about South American players want to pay for Barca, Real Madrid. I think maybe that is the only reason why he won't go to PSG. I feel if he's going to leave Liverpool, I think it'll be Spain, maybe.
But that's the thing too, right? So if because the rumor is for the longest, even before he came to Liverpool, Barca wanted him. It just they didn't have the funds to buy him. So I don't see how that situation has changed since then and stuff. I think they're more in debt now, Barcelona. I don't think they can afford to buy him.
Maybe it's fortunate. I mean, you don't see many of these deals get done, but maybe similar to what what Brian was talking about, what happened with Robbo, in the sense of maybe they put a player in there to kind of like, make the numbers work a little bit better for them to come in.
So, I'm not like, is that a thing? Can you swap a player? I don't think you can do that. Or can you?
You can if everyone is in agreement. If everyone's agreed, it's why it's so incredibly rare, because you have to get 2 players to agree, 2 clubs to agree, 2 agents to agree, 2 everything to agree. But you can if you want.
2 wives to agree.
Yeah, you've got 2 managers to agree. You've got to get everything. Yeah, wives, and the whole lot. So it can be done. There's nothing illegal about it. Absolutely nothing illegal about it.
Okay.
Right.
I think
And you could also even go where you can do like Brian mentioned about Robbo, was that like, you know, we got Robbo, but we actually put a money transfer involved, but it was also a player involved in it too. So it was like money plus a
okay. Because if I remember correctly, you guys concur.
We sold him Kevin Stewart for 12 million.
Oh.
And we bought Robbo for 7 million in the same window. It wasn't put together, but it was definitely like.
Oh.
But you can structure deals that way too. You can still structure deals that way.
Definitely. Oh, those deals were definitely sorted out in the same meeting, without a doubt. And what happened to Kevin Stewart since then? He's another 12 million that everyone forgets about. When everyone adds up all those deals that Edwards did, they all forget about the 12 million that we got for Stewart. And we got that for a guy who, sorry, but has anyone ever heard of him since?
No.
12 million from a club like Hull. And what's coming in, like, and guess what's just arrived outside? Some kid called Andy Roberts. And we're 5 million up on the deal. Ooh, thanks very much, Hull.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
That's how you do business. That is how you do business.
Because I remember too that deal, that like the swap deal. I think the only one I remember is Juventus and Barcelona. Arthur for Pjanic.
Yeah, but that was a fraud deal. That was basically
a fraud
they
deal.
sold they sold Pjanic right to Barcelona.
Is that part of the reason why they got in trouble?
Yeah, like Barcelona had Arthur, and they sold Arthur to Juve for 80 million quid, right? And Juve then officially sold Pjanic, who's unreal footballer, by the way, but was nearly 30 at the time. They sold him to Barcelona for, in quotation marks, 69 million. So basically, probably only a few quid changed hand, but it was an accounting trick so that they both put money on their books. But Juve were never able to give Barcelona 80 million quid for Arthur, but Barcelona conveniently owed them 69 million for Pjanic. So basically, they got Arthur for 21 million, but it made it seem like 89 million came in and they got sick. You know what I mean? It was pure money. That was like, that thing got investigated to shit, but they'd done it just enough within the inch of the law that they got away with it. But it was an accountancy job. Because was 69 million to Barcelona. That's just insanity. They can't afford that kind of money. So that was a really, really dodgy deal, that one. Really dodgy one.
Oh, thanks for explaining it, Brian. Thank you.
Even Realism is saying they got done for fraud, I think, on that, and they might have, because it was that freaking dodgy.
Damn, really?
Yeah, everyone looked at that and went, nah, that ain't right, guys. That's not happening at all. Like, there's something sniffy there. And yeah, you know, Arthur for 80 million quid. The guy we got, like the Arthur we got. In what world is he an 80 million pound football?
Speaking of like football in general, like as football players, actually, like really talented football players, just to say. Arsenal forward Gabriel Martinelli and Manchester City goalkeeper Ederson have withdrawn from the Brazilian squad for March's international fixtures due to injuries. Should be interesting to see who they put in keeper for Brazil, actually, considering that both Alisson and Ederson won't be there for them.
Adrian.
Yeah. Well, we are going to possibly. I think we possibly will see Adrian this weekend, actually, or tomorrow, actually, or Thursday.
Kelleher might have a Brazilian grandmother.
What's that? Or he may play a half.
Kelleher might have a Brazilian grandmother.
Brazilian grandmother. Yeah, maybe. This is an interesting thing. So yesterday, obviously the Arsenal and Porto went to penalty kicks, and in that game, there's a little bit of a blow up at the end. Havertz was doing his usual as of late, actually being a little bit of a nuisance, but also apparently Arteta was doing his best to to get a-hole of the game basically award, because apparently according to the coach, to the Porto coach, Arteta turned to the bench during the game and insulted his family in Spanish at the end. He told him that the person he insulted is no longer among us, and he said he needs to worry about, I'm paraphrasing somewhat. He says he needs to worry about training his team, which has more than enough quality to play a lot better than they did, obviously, in the match today. I don't know why he would say that, because like after that game, considering that his team just lost 1-0, or had lost the game 1-0, and that's what actually pushed it into penalty kicks.
Yeah, I think us fans dislike Arteta more than we've ever disliked Pep Guardiola. You know, Arteta's just come on the screen, on the scene, and he's acting too big for his boots. You know, I don't know what, he was a crap player. He wasn't a good footballer. Come on, you know, who did he play for? He went from Arsenal to Everton. You know, that says it all. So this attitude he has, you know, and this, like, he tries to play shady little games, saying this guy's injured. Come Saturday, he's on the pitch. Saka, for example. So he loves his mind games, Arteta. And I think I'd love to see Pep Guardiola teach him a lesson in that City game, you know. Yeah,
that'd be great. That would be great.
Go
ahead, Brian.
Sorry, I thought we were, if I think he's always been a Barcelona wannabe. Like off the top of my head, I think he goes Barcelona, Real Sociedad, Rangers, Everton, Arsenal, Man City, right? So he's like, he thinks like he has this kind of mentality. He's a Barca guy, he's an Arsenal guy, and he was more of a player at Everton and at Rangers than he ever was at Arsenal. He was brought in as a kind of a last-minute attempt to replace Fabregas when they lost Fabregas. You know, he's not really considered one of their best players. He's not a fan favorite. He never was. He's not an Arsenal legend. You know, he's a Pep Guardiola acolyte and fair play. You know, but to me, what I don't like about the whole thing, like if he said something like that, like if he's saying, like maybe Arteta, this guy looks like he's old enough that maybe Arteta played against his brother or something back in the day. Maybe his brother's no longer with us. And like if Arteta come around something like, I remember playing against your brother and he was an asshole too. I can imagine something like this going on. You know, and he goes, well, for your information.
And don't get it twisted. The FC Porto coach is not exactly, an angel, by the way. So
no, but you're not going to lie about something like that. I know Sergio Conceição. Remember,
well, I'm not insinuating that he's lying. I'm just saying he's not exactly.
No, I'm not suggesting you are. Not suggesting you are. But what I'm saying is, for me, Gerrard, Terry, Rooney, Lampard, Arteta, I actually don't care how good you turn out to be. Some of these guys are over promoted. And Arteta was over promoted. How anyone who's never had a managerial job in his life deserves to get the Arsenal job, I don't know. If that's how big a club Arsenal are now, that the best they can do is hire an assistant coach from Man City as their first choice, it's working out. Is it working out? Yeah, he's had more money than almost every other coach on the planet. And he's still, but the guy has got.
He currently only has an FA Cup as his biggest accomplishment.
Yeah, the guy. I don't understand the attitude. I just don't get where he's got this thing. He you know what he says to me? He's got an inbuilt kind of arrogance to him, but he's playing at being a football manager as well. You know what I'm saying? He's playing at it, kind of a fake it till you make it kind of thing. He's acting like he thinks you're supposed to act. And
he's kind of like, it reminds me of a little bit like Lampard, like when Frank Lampard. it kind of reminded me of Frank Lampard with his comments that he said, like, the kind of like a little bit of jerk comments that he said to Klopp on the pitch line,
As if they can talk to Klopp. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I mean, he thought he thought he could. Lampard has trophies, but not as a coach. At that, right?
I think
yeah.
But sorry, I think he only got that job. Go on, bro.
No, I was just telling you. Go ahead. I wasn't saying that. You go ahead.
I just want to quickly say that he only got that. The reason why he was at Man City was because he knew after that he can get any job. If he was doing that same job at, say, Derby County or Southend, do you think Arsenal would have gave him a phone call? Bro, we need you here. No. That Man City move for him has actually opened doors for him. Because Arsenal think, Arsenal are thinking, hey, maybe he can bring some of that magic here.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
But he don't deserve.
I mean, like it most likely. I don't say most likely. It possibly helped, get them, 2 City players at least as like being allowed to go there, because you rarely see rivals, or at least teams that you're going to be in competition with giving you players from their team, and I mean good players from their team. You rarely see that.
Constantly injured. Both of them perennially injured. Both constantly injured. Zinchenko constantly injured. Gabriel Jesus constantly injured. There was a good reason why they were allowed to get those players, as far as I'm concerned. Pep Guardiola wouldn't. He wouldn't give them players he wasn't happy to lose. He wouldn't give them players if he thought they were going to make them a threat. Maybe he underestimated a little bit, but if they win it this year, but Jesus can't get off the bench the last few months. He's either injured or he's coming back out again. He doesn't really score a lot of goals. He's more of a creator. They don't have a striker. So it's just something about him that gets under everybody's skin, I think, if you're not an Arsenal fan. He's just one of those people that just isn't likable. So I don't think he's ever going to be anyone thinking, I hope we get Arteta. Anyone that's ever seen him manage Arsenal isn't going to be, I hope we get him when he leaves Arsenal.
Well, considering what we saw at the Emirates yesterday, and considering, how Arsenal is going to be competing with us, there were some questions that were raised. 2 questions that were raised in the Twitterverse, by me somewhat, but all the same. The question was, is Gabriel actually better than Saliba? And is he the real leader of that back line for Arsenal? Because Saliba obviously has gotten all the praise. He's obviously gotten all the accolades as being the real as someone that can compete with Virgil for being regarded as the best defender in the Prem, much less or even possibly in the world. But as of late, Gabriel actually has better numbers, and he's actually demanded more recognition as of late. Saliba hasn't had that great of a season this year when it comes to performances. And then the other question could be also, does Arsenal not need a striker any longer? And do they rely on Kai Havertz to get them across the line as their main choice as a striker? And have obviously have, as you just suggested, since they can't really rely on the availability of Jesus, have we underestimated Havertz? And is Havertz the guy that can get them across the line in the next run, in this next 10 games that they have, especially this upcoming matchup against City? Do you see that being the case? I don't know if Chris is back. I'll ask Chris when I see his mute come off. But I'll go JK, Brian, and Chris. JK, do you see any of those being honest? Honest side, or not honest, but do you see them as being accurate?
Yeah, I can see it like this, bro. Like when Havertz left Germany, he had sort of a village life, ended up in London, big lights, couldn't handle it, flopped at Chelsea, ended up at Arsenal. Arsenal create a lot of chances in a game, and especially at home. He had to put 1 or 2 away in all them games he's played. So for me, he's just doing the standard, if you understand my point. Look, they're calling him King Kai, bro.
Which is wild. Pretty wild.
That's wild, bro. Come on, man. Only Salah deserves that sort of accolade. Maybe Van Dijk, you know. But calling him King Kai shows me, yeah, it's crazy. What you saying, bro?
King Kenny.
Yeah, King Kenny, the original king, you know. They deserve that accolade. But this guy Havertz, come on, man. Look how much money he's earned in that time he's been in London. And what has he got to show? Okay, he scored a goal in the Champions League final. And Chelsea fans are crying, actually. I seen a Chelsea show the other day. The guy who presented it, he was sort of crying that they let Havertz go. That's how fucking deluded this football world is. Havertz, is he a good player? He's okay. Is he worth the money he's actually brought in? Over 130 million, 140 million in total? No bloody way, you know. And this guy wants to play for Germany, you know, in the Euros. And maybe that's another reason why he stepped up now, you know. So, but I'm not really fearing Arsenal, bro. I think injuries-wise, Jesus came back yesterday. He's never really thinking, but that's the only injury.
It's funny. Yeah,
he got resurrected yesterday.
I mean, yeah. There's no resurrection. There's no, there's no Armageddon or resurrection going on right now.
In case you're Christian, don't get it. Yeah, don't worry, any Christians out there. You didn't miss it.
Right.
So they haven't really had injuries, and the guy at the back from next to Saliba, what it is, he's the mouth of that duo. Yeah. Saliba's more of a quiet type of centre back, where the other guy is a bit more of a shouting at players, loud, and hence why fans might think, he's more important to them than Saliba, for example.
Great at set pieces. Great at set pieces, Gabriel. I'd be there with you. Like it. He's kind of they're very much our Van Dijk and Konate in terms of how you have you've got that balance of one is more shouty and proactive, and the other is more calm and composed, and you have that proper balance. Gabriel, he's very very strong everywhere in both boxes. You know, when he decides to go on a run, he can get 2 or 3 goals in 4 games. You know, then he won't do anything for ages. He's a super big threat from set piece. I think if you're asking sort of is he the main man in defense like that? I think a player like Saliba may mature into the better player, you know. But a player like Gabriel is the perfect partner for him. But last season he was probably one of the best centre halves in the league, because Virgil was on his kind of a little bit of a drop off patch. But he definitely one of the most impactful, most commanding centre backs. Like I said, could go up and be a real threat from set pieces. So like an absolute, like a really kind of top quality footballer, him, and he is the kind of guy that brings the best out of or allows a Saliba. Like that's a manager's dream, like to have a Konate and a Vidic and a Bird now, the Konate and a BVD, just that perfect partnership. So I think he's just as important there as Saliba is, because if you put someone else in besides Saliba, Ben White or Tomiyasu, if he has to go in there, there's nowhere near. I know but Ben White costs a lot of money,
He does. Yeah, he did.
Jurgen Timber came in, and the other thing, with Havertz, I remember talking to I mentioned plenty of times to one of my best friends. He's an Arsenal fan, and obviously we were talking a lot about football. And while he was still there, he was saying, "I said, what you need to do this, what I don't know." And I was saying, "Look at what he did at Leverkusen. Look at what he did at Leverkusen." He was like, "Well, tell me, what did he do?" I said, "No, I'm serious. Like, I'm not telling you." I said, "Go and look. Watch him at Leverkusen. He was fantastic. That last 18 months he was at Leverkusen, that last season, that guy was phenomenal. Breaking from midfield and scoring goals and running games for them. He was brilliant in especially that final season." So I was saying, just look, I don't know what that is, but if you can get a manager to do that, you probably got a great player. But I don't know what Chelsea were trying to do it. I don't know what they were doing. Trying to play him in the wrong position, but he's clear. He was clear. Like when he was at Leverkusen, I was like, his first touch reminds me of Bergkamp. You know, he's got real elite quality in terms of his technique, but he seems to me like a real kind of a 9.5 or an 8.5 type player, where he's not a striker, he's not an attacking midfielder. And I just always thought any manager that unlocks him and gets the best out of him will have a brilliant player. And maybe I thought Havertz was getting, you know, it looks to be coming into a bit of form with Arsenal recently, but I've never doubted his quality. It's just sometimes a player, like JK is saying, you go from a very small kind of world over there to being on 300 grand a week at Chelsea at the age of 21, 22. You know, we always plead for time for our young players. Well, living in London in a goldfish bowl, that kind of pressure on them. Oh, you're not amazing straight away, but therefore you must be shit, and they flop. You know, that's kind of what it was like for him. I felt a little bit sorry for him, but I didn't. He played for Chelsea, so I was like, forget you. He plays for Arsenal now, so I can't do less. But when he was at Liverpool, I was like, wow, what a footballer, what a young player. And I think maybe he will go somewhere and be, but he's a very niche type. He needs a manager who knows, oh yeah, I want him because I'm going to do this with him. But yeah, I don't know, just outstanding technique. So I love that about him, but a massive prick, clearly a massive prick. Really,
he is. Yeah, one of the reasons why I brought him up too is because yesterday, speaking of the coach of Porto, there was a moment where Havertz was running after a ball. The ball went out of bounds, way far out of bounds, and the coach was like trying to stop the ball because it was coming right at him, and and he basically ran into the coach and he pushed the coach, and had to have a little, and then the referee had to bring him over and have a discussion, and all the players were ready to scrap with them a little bit. And Havertz is that guy, man. He's the same guy that he pulled up lame in the game, and then all of a sudden he's making sprints right afterwards. He's just that guy, man. He's one of those people that, yes, I understand. I probably would have a different opinion about him if he was on our team, of course, but
he's too
considering he wears blue, or considering he doesn't wear blue now, but considering he wore blue and now he's wearing red, but it's the wrong red. No, I'm good with him. I'm very good on it. There was an interesting
and he'll finish the triumvirate. All he has to do is go to Man United next, and then he'll
there you go. Then he'll already make the circuit complete.
Yeah, you can kind of see him, and he's taking up the kind of Bruno Fernandes asshole role of going around and just being you can just see him in, like, some players look wrong in certain shirts, like Mason Mount looks completely wrong in a Man United jersey. Kai Havertz.
I mean, hey, have you really seen Mason Mount in a United jersey this year?
I think he's back now. I think they say he might be back for Sunday.
Oh, of course. So, of course.
That'd be cool.
I said it at the time, and I stand over it ever since. Perfect Klopp player. Mm-hmm. If Klopp had got him, you would have seen him much different. I said it at the time. Perfect, high intensity pressing, running midfield number 8, can score goals, can get assists, got double figures the year before in the Premier League. I think 11 goals, 12 assists for midfield. The archetypal, like the new Jordan Henderson, basically running. Like I said it from day one, and I stand over it now. Klopp would have gotten a brilliant player out of him, but he went to completely the wrong club. I got slaughtered for it. I wasn't saying Mason Mount to Liverpool or whatever, but I just said, look, if it ends up going that way and we do buy him, I'm not worried, because I think Klopp would love a Mason Mount. But Man United, guess what? It's the new Chelsea. If you want to ruin your career, go to Man United.
It is what it is. Yeah. There was an interesting tweet that, or I don't know what they call them now. X calls
That
it.
was my
But
question. Sorry, that was my question. I wanted to ask that, and I was only half joking, right? If it's called X now, why are they still called tweets? Like, if
yeah,
it's
I
not
don't think
Twitter
I don't.
anymore, Elon didn't think that one through, did he? I
I
don't think
think it's
Elon
supposed to
thought that
be.
one
I think
through.
it's exclamations. I think it's called now or something.
Oh, no way. Are you serious? That's what they're
It's
calling
something like
X.
that. It's something.
Oh
Yeah,
my
it's something kind of corny
God.
like that.
Elon just came up with X, and then he said to someone, we're calling it X, and then he just said to someone, you finish the rest.
Yeah,
You think of
exactly.
everything. We're calling it X. I'm out. Job done. I own the company. It's called X now. You change everything. Yeah, you make it work.
Maybe the tweets. Maybe it's no longer tweets. They could be called Y, and then it could be like why? Why are you even saying this? Is more likely. I don't know. But there was a X person, I guess, or whatever, however you want to reference it. Francois Plateau, I believe his name, or something along those lines. And he wrote a segment. Basically, it was a very interesting segment. He says the owner of Manchester City, Sheikh Mansour, serves as the vice president of the UAE. Premier League referees have been freelancing in the UAE, raising questions about a potential conflict of interest, namely Michael Oliver, Darren England, Dan Cook, and Stuart Burt. The referee in the game between Liverpool and Manchester City, Michael Oliver, has previously received payment for freelancing as a referee in the United Arab Emirates. Since then, he has been. Let me bring this up too, by the way, so it has some reference as to why I'm bringing it up. Since then, he has been involved in multiple head-scratching decisions favoring Manchester City, a club owned by Sheikh Mansour, vice president
This
of the
came out a
UAE.
while ago, though, didn't it? This came out a while ago, didn't it? This thing about them going over there and doing that stuff. Is this
that came out? Yeah, that came out. But Michael Oliver did just return from a stint in the UAE before doing our game as well. So he goes on to say, additionally, in the game between Tottenham and Liverpool, VAR referee Darren England, whose name I just said, whose decision, and we can all remember that decision, which was whose decision of this was whose decision led to Luis Diaz wrongfully disallowed goal for offside, had been in the UAE less than 24 hours prior to the match. Dan Cook, the assistant VAR referee in the same game, was also present in the UAE with Mr. England. Referees recently receiving payment from United Arab Emirates, the owners of Manchester City, and consistently making the wrong calls in their favor, leave a sour taste in supporters' mouths, they say. The controversy continues to pile up for the team, already facing 115 charges, excluding inflating attendance numbers to gain an unfair economic advantage. There's been some really interesting allegations as well with this. I mean, whether it's like the PGMOL, but it's more so like as in, we were talking about the multi-clubs and everything else and such, but there's been pushback saying, I saw some of the citizens, out there quick to try to poo-poo on this on the assumption that there's different these calls or that they're making these calls because of their connections to the UAE. Basically what he was insinuating is that it's kind of interesting. These referees have to go to the UAE. They're going to the UAE because they're getting paid handsomely, and not only getting paid handsomely, sometimes even more so than they're getting paid in England. And it would behoove them to make calls in the interest of the teams or these owners that own these, that are basically employing them in one way or another.
That's the libelous leap that you want to go down.
That's libelous leap, exactly.
Yeah, if you want to say that because they've been there.
I'm not saying that. I'm just repeating it. By the way, this is just. I'm not insinuating it. Yeah, to Sheikh Mansour or any of the UAE. I'm not insinuating. I'm just repeating.
Chris said on your own, got to make that money. You're American. If someone offers you $100,000 to go and ref a match, and do it do half an hour in Dubai or UAE or Riyadh, or get put up in a nice hotel during an international break. Like you're a professional referee, you've only got a relatively short career. Someone says, here's 50 grand, say, to come and do this job. Are you going to turn it down? No, they're not going to turn it down. That can buy, that can give his daughter a deposit on a house. Does it put him in a compromised position? That's for other people to say. But for other people to say whether it puts them in a compromised position, or it's for them to say, I'm not going to say it definitely does or definitely doesn't, but it does beg the question, as you say, when they are being comped hotels, and when they are it's okay. Look, you've gotten to the point in your life where you've become a professional referee, and there's some fruits of your labor, and there's some niceties along the way. I'm not begrudging anybody that. Like we all get, if you get some perks to your job, I mean, that's because you've ended up in the place. The new guy that's only been there for a week doesn't get the perks, right? So okay, they get to a point in their career, but yeah, does it come to a point where now you can have people asking questions about their integrity? If it does, maybe don't do that holiday thing the next.
Right. Well, that's the whole point. That's the whole point of what you want to do, the best you can to not. I believe you want to do the best you can to go away from creating that conspiracy BS and all that stuff, right? You want to do your best to make it where no one could even question your integrity. I don't know if the Premier League is doing an honest job of doing that. They should be able to say to these referees, we're going to pay you well. That means concentrate on this league, concentrate on being here, and make the best of our league. Not go around, be a part of this league or that league, or be a part of these other leagues that are going to bring about the suspicion of your integrity. That's what I would that's at least what I would interpret as being the best route.
I would imagine the law means they can't, because these aren't league games. Like these are kind of like nonsense games. They're going away and refereeing, so they're actually just going away and refereeing. Like it's not an actual league. Like they are probably contracted to only be able to manage or to ref matches that are in that sort of sphere that you were talking about. But these exhibition type things, they will definitely fall outside of that. So they'll be able to just go, oh no, that doesn't go against my contract. I'm not breaking any rules by going and doing an exhibition game in Dubai. Yeah, that's how they're going to get away with it. 100%, man. They shouldn't be allowed to just go and sell their services.
It's a bad look, I think. To be honest,
as the Americans would say, the optics are poor.
Yeah. You have a problem with this, Chris?
No.
You don't? No. You don't?
Goddamn right.
I was pretty quick. Yeah. Just
honestly, I just I don't know. I just don't. The referee stuff, it's a tiring subject. I just don't care, man. Just for me, just go do the job, man. As players and teams, just go do it. And I understand,
hallelujah, Chris. Hallelujah.
I learned from the job. I learned from the job.
This, as you can see, but
all right, I get this.
This is go do the job.
No, all right. We still won the game though, didn't we? We won this game right here.
Yeah, game we done.
Yeah, we won this game. So yeah, I'm
saying this is a foul. This is a foul, right?
Yeah,
that's a foul.
I get that, but I think this is getting blown. I wouldn't say out of proportion, because that's wrong to say. I just don't have the right words to say it. And I know, Chofma, you're more intellectual than me, so you probably can find the right word for me. I just don't have it in my dictionary. My dictionary is not too good at stuff. But we didn't lose. We didn't win the game because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I
we didn't have
understand
the opportunity. We didn't have the opportunity to win the game because of this, though.
Yeah, exactly. That's all right. Thank you for.
So, like, if you're telling me that because of your dereliction of your duties of being of trying to uphold the integrity of the game, you know, and you're taking away. I'm using big words, I know, right?
No.
You know,
I understand them. It's just
right,
right.
And then you take away the opportunity for me to win the game because of your negligence. Yeah, I'm going to start questioning certain things.
And you have a right to feel that way. It's just for me. It's just like we cannot sit
what
here.
you call.
Yeah, no, we cannot sit here like because a lot of us fans we love our club and we will hype players up. A lot of us do. We sit there and say we have the best goalkeeper in the world, the best defender in the world, we have the best striker in the world, we have the best midfielder. If we do have all this, then we shouldn't have an issue winning games. And we don't need to be lucky in regards to certain referees' decisions. That's just the way I see it. So just go win the game. And in that game, we had plenty of chances.
You're right.
Even if we remove the DS situation, which he had 3. I don't want to get there because I don't want to go there and stuff. You know.
Yeah, don't go there. Don't go there.
You know what I mean? We had 3. He had 3 clearly. But if let's say for example, if Salah was onside, if Nunes could learn to stay onside, he had 6 offsides. Like, come on.
No, you're right about that. I was definitely up in arms about him going off. He's worked well this year. He's tried to work that out of himself.
He's getting better.
You know,
he's getting better.
But
he's getting better. He's getting better. I'm not gonna. But it's like we were whooping their ass. Excuse my language. We were destroying them. The second half, it was like night and day. We were on top. We could have executed them, but we didn't, unfortunately. And it is what it is. Like, but I think
Endo was about to. Endo was doing his duty. He's about to pull out the samurai sword.
He was amazing. But yeah. I'm not gonna sit here and criticize referees. Like, yeah, I guess whatever. But it is what it is. So, yeah, man.
I mean, Dustin says, can we separate the performance at this and this moment? I mean, VAR was brought to stop this, basically. WTF? Like, and I get that's the portions of why I'm saying, like, as in, you know, yeah, it hurts that we're in the place that we are. Look, my simple solution is hey, we're gonna have to basically. I don't want to see referees, former referees, or this or that, to be pushed into VAR. More so, I would like to see VAR specific referees, like as in referees that are more. Can I
ask a question and stuff to the OGs? Yeah. Like, you guys are the OGs. If I'm correct, every other leagues have an independent group of people in charge of VAR. So the Premier League is still, because when we really think about it, the Premier League is awfully new to VAR per se. What are we, 3 years in? So mistakes are going to happen.
Okay. Yeah.
No. Am I right or wrong?
I know they're going to happen. They're going to always happen. Mistakes are always going to happen.
So I'm not sitting here trying to defend. I'm not sitting here trying to defend referees. Like, we can go on a rant. I'm all for it going negative. Yeah, go ahead, Brian. My bad.
Look, look, I'll put it this way. Have we ever won a league title, right? Because the team that finished second got done over by refs. Have we ever won a league title because the team that finished second over the course of a 38-game season was getting done over by referees? No, of course we didn't. We won it because we're the best team in the league. We didn't win it because refs are shit. We're not going to lose a league because refs are shit. I know it's incredibly easy to pick out a refereeing decision and say that, but the simple facts are, over the course of a 38-game season, the best team will win a league. And you might say, oh, but what about this and what that? I don't really care. I don't care about referees. For me, if we can ever look back at a season and go, oh yeah, I remember that season. Yeah, Liverpool finished second, but the only reason they finished second was because this refereeing decision. Of course, they will impact seasons or games. I'm not saying they don't. I'm not here to be picked apart on this. I'm just saying there was a quote I was looking for there earlier on, and it was the guy who was talking about the first time he played American football, and he was kind of paraphrasing, and he said, the referees out there, they don't know anything. They played the game. They haven't played the game. They don't know anything. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to mess up. So don't expect them to get everything right. Don't bother arguing with them. Go out there and win the game, and make sure that you don't come in complain about it. You know, that's it. That's literally it. It's like they infuriate us when they happen, but like we've been saying this earlier on, and it has to be part of it. If we take our chances in that game, we're not talking about that refereeing decision because it's irrelevant. Okay,
we take our own destiny in our own hands. Yeah.
And I know what you're saying. It was 1-1 at the time. So then at that point, that decision did become pivotal. But we need to look at the whole game, and we need to be able to admit to ourselves that we should have been winning that game before it got to that point.
There you go, Brian. Right there, Brian. What you just said, right there, Brian. That's what you hit it. You hit it in multiple angles. You hit it right there. Like
hit the head on the nail, or the nail on the head. Excuse me.
Nail on the head.
And as a fan, it's the hardest part, right? As a fan, to admit that. I think that's where we struggle as a fan base is admitting that what Brian just said.
But this part I will say too. I'll let JK go. Go ahead, JK.
Yeah, I just quickly want to say that. Yeah, that game should have been wrapped up way before that incident. And I'm not a big moaner about referees and stuff. We know what it is. It is what it is. It's the same as politics, for example. When politicians do the same crap every 4 years, humans sort of get used to it and think, you know what? It don't matter no more. What can we fucking do? You know, football's a different sort of cup of tea, but I think us fans, especially Liverpool fans, need to raise these sort of topics up against these referees, because at the end of the day, they could cost league titles. You know, if that penalty was given against City on Sunday, for example, we would have gained 3 points on City, and they would have been 3 points behind us. We'd be a point. 2 points above Arsenal. So you got to look at it in that way. For me, if you are getting paid good money, they're getting paid good money for a refereeing game. People say, "Oh, it's not that much money."
No, they're making six figures. They're making six figures.
People used to, it's like I used to do. People have done refereeing for free on Sunday mornings, freezing, 10 o'clock kickoff. You know what I mean? They do it for free because they love being referees, and these guys are getting actually paid for it, and still. They're not making mistakes. They're doing things on purpose, so it looks like it's a mistake. You know, very crafty. The whole VAR refereeing, but I don't want to use that as an excuse that we might not win the league. At the end of the day, it is what it is. But big. I think the people need to look into that topic big time when the season's over.
I think the only reason why I'm bringing a lot of this stuff up, I get your points are both valid, Chris and Brian, and I agree with you. I agree with your points. Actually, we should have just taken our own destiny in our own hands and just made the most of the circumstances by winning the game and like not allowing it. I often say that if you're in someone's corner, if you're in a boxer's corner, your manager is going to tell you, hey, just knock them out. Don't let it go to the cards, because then you're taking it out of your hands. But it's just interesting that when you have circumstances where, I can't really, there's no long laundry list of dodgy calls that I could say have happened to City. I rarely have had to say that they've had the same unfortunate circumstances that we've had to go through and persist through. And I also know that often, I'm gonna land my point. Let me just land my point. Like, and then often, and I'll let you go after this, Brian. Often when we have circumstances like we do, or the circumstances that we do, I've heard people say, "Oh, well, you don't want to re-referee the game. You don't want to do this. You don't want to do that." I understand it. I'm cool with that. But again, it's very similar to the point of, okay, we see the call being made against Virgil's header in the final, and we're like, okay, cool. That's that call doesn't ever get called, but yet you decided to make that call today. All right, okay, understood. But yet I want to make sure that that call is going to be made properly and the same way going forward. And then what happens the very next opportunity they have with the same refereeing crew, they make that call in reverse and say, oh no, it is okay for it to be for this to be happening. So it's one of those things where it's not I don't have a problem with mistakes being made. I understand mistakes will be made, but there has to be one accountability, and there also has to be a commitment to having a consistency, having a commitment to creating a consistent level of professionalism on the pitch for those referees. And if you're not going to be able to provide that, you're going to bring question into your integrity. You're going to bring questions into the game that are not needed. And it's something that we as fans should not be having to talk about this BS consistently. I understand the game's over and we've all moved on from it somewhat, but I'm also saying that we have to get this out from the game. Go ahead, Brian. You want to say your point?
Well, no. If you're talking about getting rid of mistakes, then you're basically what you're talking about getting rid of is human error, and you'll never remove human error. So it's about basically accepting the fact that there will always be mistakes, and that's what I said. I made my peace with that long before VAR. I accepted that they weren't doing it on purpose, because everything you did tonight, a City fan and an Arsenal fan can do that. They can show, especially Arsenal fans, and I know some because I've seen them. They can show you.
Got the things, yeah, sure.
They
and they've got things from us.
But like Arsenal fans can show you a list of decisions over the last 2 years, right? City fans can do the same. They actually can. They've probably got 8 or 9 really awful refereeing decisions. Now, it didn't matter because they win everything anyway. But we don't watch every other team. You ask Wolves, there's also a counter conspiracy that we don't know, and this is from what I read in different sites, and I know this is not comment section nonsense, but there's a conspiracy that the refs are actually out there trying to make sure that Liverpool win the league in Jurgen Klopp's last season. So for every conspiracy one side sees, the other side sees another conspiracy.
Yeah.
So I just, I've said, I just can't, we do have. I know that's not what you're saying, but no, I'm not saying is that every fan out there can give you a list of all the decisions that's gone against their club, and they all think referees hate them. They all list off all the decisions that have got, like Arsenal fans especially, are like, look what happened to us here, look, and it's just every fan of every club has it, and for us, yeah, it is more pronounced or whatever because we're Liverpool fans, but that's why I just it's not that I don't have a problem with it. It's basically just accepting the fact that the people who live next door are assholes and just living with it. I want them, it's I wish it wouldn't happen, but I'm just going to have to live with it because the solution to refs, I have never heard one. I haven't heard one. It tends to be a kind of a catch-all. Get rid of them and bring in refs from Europe. Well, they're human as well.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
There's no... The thing with VAR, anybody making a decision in the VAR room has to be a qualified referee. You have to be qualified at all levels. So there's only a few of these. There's not that many of these guys.
Right.
So until you have some kind of, you up the money and you make the conditions easier and all that, unless you have a bunch of these guys, it's this is what I said. Everyone thought VAR was going to get rid of these decisions. And they thought VAR was going to end all this nonsense. What they didn't realize was that VAR is just 3 or 4 other referees sitting around watching things on a TV and making another refereeing decision about it. It was never going to stop anything because you still got a bunch of humans going, yeah, I'm not sure. And then we saw it with Tottenham. You'll never iron this stuff out. They are always going to make fucking mistakes. They're always going to do it.
Okay. But the one thing, Brian, I get what you're saying, and I understand that there will be mistakes. And I've said that. I said that in my little monologue that I just dropped it earlier too. But I'm just asking for the sheer fact of when I say consistency, if you're going to call something, let's say hypothetically, if you're going to call something offsides, or you're going to call something handball, or you're going to call something interference, or you're going to call something as a dangerous foul, cool. Consistency is saying you've made the bar, you set the bar as being that. Yeah. So therefore, all I'm asking, I'm not saying that you're not going to make mistakes, but what I'm asking for is that if that is the call, like I said earlier with the offsides in the final, okay, I saw it. It was a BS call that should have been called consistently earlier in this year. We've seen it constantly throughout the entire year, but it hasn't been called. And then you decide to make it this call. All right. Well, then if this is the bar that you're setting going forward, I would like to make sure that you continuously make that call the same way. Because if you don't, then you've taken away the consistency I'm asking for. That's not a mistake. That is an applied decision that you're saying, I don't think it applies here now, but it applied before. That can't happen. That's what I'm trying to get across. That can't happen.
Yeah, and that's what I said. That's what we should, the next game, we should just boot somebody in the chest in the penalty box, because apparently that's cool now, and then see how that rule works.
Right. That's what I'm trying to get across.
If that's fine.
I'm getting across. Your point is spot on. Yeah. Your point, the thing you said is spot on. Yeah.
Yeah, and I also believe when this guy.
It's cool for everyone now, so let's go boots all in. It's fine now, so everyone start kicking everybody.
Yeah, but I think if this guy knows, like a lot of VAR people,
I know Chris likes that idea.
Yeah, let's do it.
These guys know if they can go to Dubai, have a good week there, eat good, probably take the missus with them. So they know they can do that. So they know what they're doing when they're sitting there doing a fucking VAR decision, I don't fall for that, the making mistakes bullshit. When you are getting paid to do a job, yeah, the only reason why you might make a mistake, maybe you got diabetes, your sugar goes low, you fucked it up. But you know what you're doing. And I believe we've got pictures, bro. Look at all the pictures I sent you of the circumstances this season where we've got done. I don't want to use that as an excuse. I reckon we should just win the game before that anyway. But when you look at it, it's cheating. There's no ifs or buts about that.
No, JK, just quickly, when I say mistakes, what I mean is on the pitch, like live in game, like you've got 22 guys on the pitch. It's like we talk about how fast the game is. It's like a ref on a pitch, vision blocked. A player, like we talk about sneaky players, tricky players diving. A ref can be conned. He can. Let's not forget this. A ref can be cheated. So when I say mistakes, I make mistakes on the pitch. Definitely, but yeah, not when it goes to VAR and they have the 5 angles and all that. There's no excuse for mistakes then.
Yeah,
but
that's the consistency I'm asking for primarily too, Brian. Too, because a lot of these refs, because the VAR exists,
the rule should be the rule. If it's a foul for us last week, it's a foul for them next week. It should 100%. I'm completely with you.
Yeah, and no, I was just saying, I was just going to add too, though. And this is that VAR. I think VAR has basically VAR has made referees not make decisions on the pitch that they should make. Like there's things that could go either way, and they rather than decide on it, they allow for it to go and say, oh well, if I missed it, VAR will take care of it for me.
Yeah, same with the linesman.
Do your job as a referee. Make the decision on the pitch.
Then go there.
And then VAR should be there to correct your mistake or not. Yeah. It shouldn't be on the sense of, oh, I'm just going to allow for these things to go. It's there's a lot of things that because VAR exists now, it has brought some negatives to the game, whereas it was supposed to bring positives. And that's the unfortunate case. I'm not saying that I want VAR to be gone or VAR to disappear, but I mean, like, there's a lot of things I think that VAR has done that's created a negative approach towards the accountability that referees have to make, the accountability that linesmen have to make. I have no problem that if a linesman makes a bad call or this or that, but like, for instance, with that Tottenham call, he should have been able to understand that he was onside. It wasn't like so far close. It was a noticeable situation, but but the linesman wasn't doing his job correctly. He wasn't properly in position, you know. And if the accountability is, oh, you're going to get a little bit of a lesser check. You'll be pushed into the VAR from the field to the VAR, or even worse, you might, you know, miss a game. And then you can just say, okay, I'll miss a game, but then maybe even be allowed to. I'm not certain if they can or not, but maybe if it is the case, maybe be allowed to go to Dubai and make up the difference by going to Dubai and working a week in Dubai when you're on suspension. That's not accountability. The accountability.
VAR,
that's all I'm saying.
You know, VAR as it stands, has taken away more than it's given us.
Yeah,
it has definitely, especially with, you know, celebrating goals. Like, I'm cool with the lines.
Exactly.
Yeah. But right now, as it stands, VAR for me is a net negative. It's a complete net negative.
That's what I'm getting at. Yeah.
Totally. They need to. Yeah, like, you haven't improved the game with it. And I'm blaming fans for this, by the way. I blame fans because the people that complain loudest about VAR were the people who complained loudest about wanting it and saying if we bring in video refs, we'll never have bad decisions again. They were the people who just couldn't get over a decision. They demanded VAR. Now they've got it. Now it's worse. And now the game is even worse because of it. So congratulations to those people. Get rid of it. The lines are cool. The lines work. Okay? Keep the lines. Goal line technology where the ball beeps, if his watch beeps, that works. Keep it. VAR is a bunch of dickheads in a room going, I don't know, what do you think? Get rid of it.
Right.
Get rid of it. So no one can then complain. No one can then go on Twitter and bring up the list of the 4 guys in the VAR room telling you that one of them used to play for Manchester United under 21 or under 10s when he was 9. You know, you get rid of all that shit. None of this, all the conspiracy stuff goes out the window, and it's only the ref on the pitch that's out to get you. You know, so put it back to that way. Keep the lines and get rid of VAR. Especially, like, fans are just looking at it. You know, no, JK, you know that you said it. Celebrating goals. It's gone now. Can't celebrate a goal.
It's gone.
What's the fucking point of football if you can't celebrate a goal? Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And I feel if the VAR teams and referees were not English based, from England, maybe from South America, for example, they won't have no bias as such, if you understand my point.
That's the only, it would be hard to do South America, but
I don't know about that, Brian. There's a lot of corruption going on and cooking.
Well, no, that was JK's idea, not mine. That was JK's.
Quickly sends it to me. No, but seriously, bro. If he's born in Manchester, the guy, but if he's born in Rio de Janeiro, you know, it's going to be a bit different story. I just feel maybe.
No, JK, I mean, like, look, I just think of it as like, it's simple as if you have a judge, right, for instance, in a court case, right, and he has any connect, like, let's say hypothetically he's getting paid by the defendant, or not by the prosecutor, but either prosecutor or the defender, right? But let's just use the defense as a case. If the defense is the connection to where he has the judge has gotten paid by this defender, by the defense team before, or the person that's part of the defense, he's got to recuse himself from the court case. So, like, that's all I was getting at too, is that, like, if we could create an accountability sense of, like, something similar, whereas in, like, you don't create these, like, murky waters or these cloudy situations for people to say, maybe something exists when possibly nothing exists. But the fact that you're creating that smoke where you can't see through, that makes the problem. So, that's true. And I know Brian's been having a little bit of problems with his internet connection, so he didn't get mad and just leave. So yeah. But all the same, he'll probably be back on to say goodbye to everyone. But we're going to be landing the plane here because we've gotten on to 2 hours. Bring it back in. And we're also going to be basically, I know it wasn't Dustin, actually. It was Daz. Daz asked a question about my lineup for tomorrow. Tomorrow we are going to be having we're going to be doing a lead-in and doing I'm going to do a watch-along because I'm not going to my boozer tomorrow. So if you want, tune in tomorrow. I'll have a predicted lineup. I'll also give a live lineup, update as the lineup comes in. And then, and if you have time, you can watch the game with us. I know Brian's going to be here tomorrow. JK might be here as well. Chris is always welcome to be here as well. If that's hopefully we can work something out for that. So Daz, hopefully that answers your question. And Chris,
sorry,
Beijing Reds TV.
Sorry, I didn't realize this back. No, I just want to say you're bang on in what you're saying there previously. The point is that because you hit the nail on the head, there's almost certainly nothing going on in terms of some kind of there's nothing going on in terms of this big grand conspiracy. But the problem is, if you do go and take these holidays and these, you accept that Christmas gift of a watch, then you open yourself up for everyone to pile in and go, well, obviously he's on the payroll. It makes it so easy for the people that want to stay to go, oh, look, there's and especially when you might not be doing something wrong, it's like, it just makes it so obvious or so easy for people to go, oh, well, look, they're definitely on the payroll. So just stop doing stupid stuff like that, and it will bring an end to a lot of this kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris, I was just asking, what do you guys got going on for Beijing Reds TV this upcoming week? I know you guys always got a bunch of good shows always programmed or at least in the works. Yeah, anything? No, okay.
Honestly, I'm not sure.
I saw Pops and I saw Barnes in the chat earlier.
Let me look at the WhatsApp. No, the WhatsApp has been empty. I don't know, but I think we have a show today. I think we have a show today. I'm not sure though. You'll see if there's a show. You'll see me. You'll see me on. If not, then you'll see me the next time. I don't know.
Okay. All right. That's how it works. I got you.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, if you don't have a watch along tomorrow, you're more than welcome to join. I'll send you the link for it tomorrow. Okay. And JK, do you want to or Chris, do you want to say something to the people before we land and allow for everyone to go into their other destinations, possibly even your destination as being one?
Just thank everyone for tuning in, man, and thank you for having me. And
always.
If people don't know, I'm part of Beijing Reds TV. If you guys want to subscribe, cool. If not, that's cool too, and stuff, So, yeah, man, that's pretty much it.
Yep. JK, do you want to say any parting words?
Yeah, just a quick question. Gapco's pink boots, yes or no?
What happened?
Gapco.
Oh, man.
And his pink boots, yes or no?
He needs to focus less. He needs to focus less on fashion and start focusing on the game of freaking football and stuff.
He needs to wear black boots.
But yeah, sure.
I seen him training today. He was wearing the pink boots again. I was like, bro, come on. I was like, you can't do that tomorrow, man. Trust me, I think if he wears black boots tomorrow, he scores. But all in all,
maybe he needs to have his astrological sign for JK to like it. But we can put that on his boot.
Shit, but but all in all, exciting week. Tomorrow a game, Sunday the big game against United, and then we got normally we're not really into international breaks international break, but for some reason this one's come at perfect timing for us guys, because hopefully a few guys will be back after it. So good news in that way, and enjoy the game tomorrow, guys.
Yeah. And Brian, last but not least, what would you like to say?
Yes to Beijing Reds TV. No to pink boots. And
no to pink boots. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't notice it until maybe JK has hit on the reason. Maybe that's it. But tomorrow,
no.
Yeah, I'm only joking. Oh,
Yeah.
look,
Yeah,
tomorrow.
I know you are. I know you are.
Yeah, we got a good lead in tomorrow. So
Yeah.
if you're looking at the video, it's going to be a lead in and it's going to be a watch along, like 12 man said. So hopefully, anyone in the chat, I know he's already said it, but I want to reiterate, come along even before the game and put your predicted lineup in the comments, or put your predicted score in the comments for tonight's video, so we can read them out on tomorrow's, and we can bring them up. So yeah, just get involved in the comments. More importantly, not get involved in the comments.
Yeah, spot on. Everyone, we love the interactions with the Mighty Red Army, and like we love the fact that you guys support. I love the fact that you guys are going to share. So, but it works because you're here, and that's how it is for me. As in, you're always welcome. It's nice. It's certainly nicer when you are a Red, but if you're not a Red, hey, you're welcome to join and have a seat at the table here and enjoy the breaking bread here. But yeah, tomorrow should be a fun little fun game, because we're going to see a lot of players, a lot of youth players, a lot of players that are going to get some time, a lot of players that are going to be finding form. So we'll chop it up. We always have some really cool instructions. Maybe we'll bring up the pink shoes again tomorrow. We'll see, He's gonna I got a little pink in my hat today too. In care.
Yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on the pink shoes now. JK's brought it up.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. We'll keep an eye on it.
You know what's going to be crazy? He's going to score 3 tomorrow, and he's going to make me look like an idiot.
He's going to score a brace tomorrow. You wait and see. But thank you guys for joining us, and we wish you a good night, good evening, good morning, wherever you're watching us in the world. Be sure to take care of yourselves, and be sure to take care of your loved ones in your life, because life is fragile and it's important that we consider it precious. So just do the best we can, and continue to work on ourselves and continue to do the best to help each other. So that's what it is. And I will see you guys tomorrow. All right. Take care, guys.